James J. Gibson's pioneering work in ecological psychology forever changed our understanding of perception and reality. His groundbreaking theories on affordances and direct perception not only challenged conventional wisdom, but also paved the way for a deeper comprehension of human interaction with the environment. As we delve into the fascinating life and legacy of this visionary psychologist, get ready to uncover the profound insights that will fundamentally alter your perspective on the world around you. As we explore the life and legacy of James J. Gibson, it's fascinating to note how his early experiences laid the groundwork for his groundbreaking theories on ecological psychology. Born in 1904 in McConnellsville, Ohio, Gibson grew up in a family that encouraged curiosity and exploration. His father, a lawyer, and his mother, a former teacher, instilled in him a love for learning and a strong work ethic. Gibson's childhood was marked by a deep connection with the natural world, spending hours exploring the woods and creeks surrounding his hometown. This affinity for the environment would later become a cornerstone of his theoretical framework. Gibson's educational journey began at Ohio State University, where he earned his undergraduate degree in psychology. It was during this time that he became fascinated with the works of William James and John Dewey, whose philosophical ideas on pragmatism and functional psychology resonated deeply with him. Gibson's mentors, including the esteemed psychologist Harvey Carr, played a significant role in shaping his intellectual trajectory. Carr's emphasis on the importance of understanding behavior in context rather than isolating it in a laboratory setting would later influence Gibson's development of the concept of affordances. The concept of affordances, which suggests that our environment provides us with opportunities for action, was a pivotal idea in Gibson's theoretical contributions. He argued that perception is not just a matter of interpreting sensory data, but rather an active process of exploring and interacting with our surroundings. This idea challenged traditional notions of perception, which often relied on a more passive, receptive model. Gibson's work on direct perception, which posits that we can perceive the world directly without the need for intermediaries like representations or interpretations, further expanded our understanding of human interaction with the environment. One of the most significant research endeavors that showcased Gibson's theories was his work on optic flow. By studying how people perceive movement and depth through visual cues, Gibson demonstrated that our brains are capable of picking up subtle patterns in the environment, allowing us to navigate and interact with our surroundings in a remarkably efficient manner. This research not only shed light on the complexities of perception, but also had practical implications for fields like aviation and transportation. Gibson's relationships with his contemporaries were marked by both collaboration and debate. His friendship with psychologist Ulrich Neisser, for example, led to lively discussions about the nature of perception and cognition. Meanwhile, his disagreements with behaviorist psychologists like B.F. Skinner reflected fundamental differences in their views on the role of environment versus innate factors in shaping behavior. Despite these debates, Gibson's work was widely respected, and he became a leading figure in the development of ecological psychology. As Gibson's career progressed, his theories on ecological psychology continued to evolve, influenced by his collaborations with other prominent researchers of the time. One notable partnership was with his wife, Eleanor Jack Gibson, a renowned psychologist in her own right who made significant contributions to the field of developmental psychology. Together, they explored how children perceive and interact with their environment, shedding light on the complex interplay between cognitive development and ecological factors. Their joint research endeavors led to a deeper understanding of how affordances are perceived and utilized by individuals across different age groups and contexts. For instance, they conducted a series of experiments on the visual perception of staircases, demonstrating how children as young as 6 months old can differentiate between navigable and non-navigable environments. This work not only underscored the importance of ecological factors in shaping cognitive development, but also highlighted the remarkable ability of humans to adapt and learn from their surroundings. Gibson's interactions with other contemporaries, such as psychologist Roger Barker, further expanded his theoretical framework. Barker's work on behavior settings, which emphasized the role of environmental context in shaping human behavior, resonated with Gibson's ideas on affordances and direct perception. Their discussions and debates helped to refine Gibson's theories, particularly with regards to the interplay between individual agency and environmental constraints. Despite the significance of his contributions, Gibson's approach was not without its criticisms. Some researchers argued that his emphasis on ecological factors overlooked the role of internal cognitive processes in shaping perception and behavior. Others contended that his concept of affordances was too broad, encompassing a wide range of environmental features without providing sufficient clarity on their specific characteristics. In response to these criticisms, Gibson engaged in lively debates with his peers, including psychologists like David Marr, who advocated for a more computational approach to understanding visual perception. These exchanges not only showcased Gibson's intellectual agility, but also demonstrated his commitment to refining and expanding his theoretical framework in the face of constructive criticism. As Gibson's work continued to gain recognition, he became increasingly fascinated with the concept of visual perception in real-world environments. He began to explore how people perceive and interact with their surroundings in everyday situations, such as walking through a park or navigating a busy street. This led him to develop the idea of optic array, which refers to the complex pattern of light and shadow that surrounds us at any given moment. Gibson argued that our brains are capable of picking up on subtle changes in the optic array, allowing us to perceive depth, distance, and movement with remarkable accuracy. One of the most significant experiments that demonstrated the power of optic array was Gibson's work on the visual cliff. In this study, Gibson and his colleagues created a platform with a transparent glass surface that appeared to drop off suddenly, creating a visual illusion of a steep cliff. Infants as young as 6 months old were placed on the platform, and their reactions were observed. The results showed that the infants were able to perceive the depth of the cliff and would hesitate or refuse to crawl over the edge, even though they had never experienced a similar situation before. This study provided strong evidence for Gibson's theory of direct perception, suggesting that our brains are capable of perceiving the world directly, without the need for complex cognitive processing. Gibson's work on optic array and visual perception also had significant implications for our understanding of human behavior in real-world environments. For example, his research on the perception of affordances in everyday situations, such as walking through a doorway or reaching for an object, highlighted the importance of considering the environmental context in which behavior occurs. This idea has had a lasting impact on fields such as architecture, urban planning, and product design, where designers seek to create environments that are intuitive and easy to navigate. As Gibson's career progressed, he continued to collaborate with other prominent researchers, including psychologist James Jerome Gibson, who shared his interest in visual perception and ecological psychology. Together, they explored the relationship between perception and action, arguing that our brains are wired to perceive the world in terms of possibilities for action, rather than just abstract features or objects. This idea has had a significant influence on the development of embodied cognition, a field that seeks to understand how our bodies and sensory experiences shape our perceptions and behaviors. Some critics argued that his emphasis on ecological factors overlooked the role of cultural and social influences on perception and behavior. Others contended that his theory of direct perception was too broad, failing to account for the complex cognitive processes that underlie human behavior. In response to these criticisms, Gibson engaged in lively debates with his peers, including psychologists like Hubert Dreyfus, who advocated for a more nuanced understanding of the relationship between perception and cognition. His legacy continues to inspire new generations of researchers, from embodied cognition to environmental design, reminding us that our experience of the world is deeply rooted in our sensory encounters with it. As Gibson himself once eloquently put it, "The world is not a mere backdrop for behavior, but an active participant in its unfolding." These words echo through the corridors of psychology, beckoning us to embrace a more nuanced and contextual understanding of human experience. And so, as we bid farewell to this episode, may Gibson's profound insights stay with you, illuminating the intricate web of relationships that binds us to our world. That's all for today's Psych with Sigmund. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, may your ego find balance between pleasure and reality.